One of the interesting things that happens for young adults is and teens is that at some point in your teens, early 20s, you kind of start figuring out how life works. And then you look over your parents and you think, like, what are they doing? So and one of the traps that young people get caught in is that staying out of feeling judgy or intolerant or disrespectful or resentful of your parent that maybe you can see some of their weaknesses. Or maybe they're not weaknesses. Maybe they're just going about things in ways that you don't respect. And it could become it might be maybe they're a workaholic in your mind. They work too much and they're not present. They don't care about the right things and it affects you. I have a client right now whose dad won't leave her mom, and her mom's an alcoholic, and she feels like she's kind of done with it, and she's frustrated, and she feels like she's 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 resentful at her dad, and ends up saying really harsh things to him, and then feels terrible, and doesn't want to be living at the effects of this, but it's not her decision. So to keep people out of that trap, one of the things that I have to share with a lot of my teen clients, my young adult clients, is you can only affect how you handle your life. You can't affect how other people handle their life, even if you're right. You might have really good insight. I find that's one of the reasons I love working with teens and young adults is their insight into life is amazing. Not that they don't have problems, but they see things with enormous perspective for their age. And your insight or advice might be spot on, but you can't fix people. You can't make them change. And your parents are no different, even though you're right there. And even though you're telling them your insight, it doesn't mean they can hear it. So, first of all, if you feel like you want to share, if you want to share your frustrations or you want to make sure that they're seeing everything that needs to be seen, don't do it in a fight and don't do it in the heat of the moment. Wait until if there's a flare up that just happened that just set you off about it. Maybe the problem just got really bad. Wait a couple days, wait a couple weeks if you have to. Calm down. Wait until they're at a calm place and go talk to them. And but you want to talk to them when you're in a state of being when you feel when you can respect them even though they're handling something badly. Even though you don't respect their behavior, you want to talk to them in a way where you respect them and they can feel that respect. So when you're not upset, when you're not harsh, and when they're calm and they can hear where you're coming from, and then let it go. Once you've said your piece, leave it. And and this is where it gets a little tough, is that your parents are people too. So they don't have everything figured out any more than you do. You don't have everything figured out. You might have a lot figured out, maybe different things than what they have figured out, but you don't have everything figured out, and neither do they. And it has to be okay that they're human and that they have blind spots in ways that may affect you hugely. Just like you may have things you struggle with that affect them hugely. Has to be okay. And it's just going to be a fact that your parents are going to affect you and their blind spots are going to affect you. And you want to come to peace with the fact of that. If it wasn't this set of parents with this set of blind spots, it'd be a different set. So their humanity is just a fact of life. It doesn't mean that because they have weaknesses or blind spots or going about some area of their life that is really stupid, it doesn't mean they're weak as a person. It doesn't mean they're clueless or broken. They might look weak and clueless and broken, but they're not. That's one of the things that's hard. I have to tell a lot of parents this about teenagers. I have to tell people this about their spouses. So it will feel like that in the heat of the moment, but you want to be able to so they have to find their own answers, just like you, and they have to do it when they're ready, and they may not be ready yet. Just like your problems, there's so much that nobody understands about that problem but you. And their problem that you're looking at is exactly that way. There's probably a lot of things about it that you don't understand. Maybe a lot about their psychology that you don't understand, and a lot of backstory. So, your job isn't to fix or evaluate them, even if you're right. What I would say is that your job is to res learn to respect them and love them separate from how they live their lives. Even if you're terrible at it, you want to see the value of and try to love and respect them separate from how they live their lives, even if it affects you. Not just for your parents, but you want to learn to do that in life. You want to be able to love and respect people, even though you don't like how they're doing things, even though maybe you don't agree with all their values. It's you want to start learning that now if you struggle with this. It's fine to create boundaries or not have them in your life. Maybe you have to separate yourself from them a little bit. If it puts your well-being at risk, if it's agitating to you, you gotta maybe look the other way. When that problem flares up, you maybe go do your own thing. If you're gonna get judgy, arrogant, righteous, resentful, that part's on you. The blind spot is their problem, but it can't make you feel bad about them. Your resentment, your judgment is the only thing that can make you feel bad about other people's weaknesses or how other people are living their lives, whether they're weaknesses or not. So if you have to look the other way or have them in your life less, then maybe you do that. You're the only one that knows. But if they're in your life and for however long they're in your life, my advice would be look past what bothers you and love them for who they are. That's what I'm telling parents to do. Um, Even if they're teenagers or like adult kids are really struggling if they're on drugs or in abusive relationships, or is to just love them and not try to fix them. Just love them such as they are.